Welcome back to PBC on FS1. We are in Lancaster, California at the Pioneer Event Center getting set for our first fight of the night. We have a quadruple header on tap here this evening as we will take a look at our Corona Tale of the Tape. Corona, who invites you to find your beach. Here are the numbers behind Omotoso and Freddy Hernandez. Hernandez is 6 years older than Omotoso. The height advantage is in favor of Omotoso, but the reach advantage squarely in the favor of the Mexican in Freddy Hernandez. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Pioneer Event Center here in Lancaster, California. Live on FS1, this is Premier Boxing Champions. The action begins with 10 rounds in the super welterweight division. The three judges ringside are Rudy Barragan, Fernando Villarreal, and Zachary Young. And the referee in charge, when the bell sounds, Jack Reese. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the blue with the red. His professional record stands at 34 wins, 22 of those coming by way of knockout against 8 losses. Fighting out of Ciudad de Mexico. Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, aquí están Freddy Hernandez. And across the ring, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner. He comes in wearing the black and the gray. His professional record stands at 26 wins, 21 of those coming by way of knockout against 3 losses. Fighting out of Lagos, Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Wale Lucky Boy Omotoso.
Am I starting myself?
I think so.
Nobody's going to give me a cue or anything?
I think you're starting yourself.
All right. Lucky boy. Lucky boy. Love it. All right. You want to come over here? Yeah. All right. So the trunks are good right now. They're going to work in here. I gave you both instructions in the dressing room. I just want to remind you to listen and obey my commands at all time. Protect yourself at all time. Fight hard, fight clean, play duro, play limpio. Toco la mano. Good luck to both of you.
It's time for our first fight here tonight. Wale Omatoso, a layoff since July of last year. Came up short against Jamal James, who incidentally happens to be in our co-main event. That's a fight that Omotoso felt he was robbed in Alabama. Looking to get back in the win column, taking on Freddy Hernandez, who also has a layoff. He defeated Pedro Angulo last August. For Omotoso, he said that moving up in weight here, Robert, to the 154-pound division was a necessity because he felt a lot of guys at 147 were avoiding him.
Yeah, a lot of people like to avoid, when you got a tough guy that just keeps coming forward like Omotoso.
Wale Omatoso, also, he was inside the ring against Jesse Vargas. That was over 4 years ago. Came up short by way of unanimous decision. So being battle-tested is certainly the MO for both combatants.
Yeah, battle tested is very important. Being in there with guys that can punch, that can fight, it just gets you better, especially when you have to move up in weight.
And for Freddy Hernandez, he has been in there and had losses to Julian Williams, Erislandy Lara, Andre Berto, but does have a very big win over Luis Collazo. And we saw Collazo earlier in the year knocking out a very tough, Sammy Vasquez Jr.
Yes, he's looking very good right now. Very composed, very calm. He's looking for his spots. I just like to see him go throw that jab a little more and go to work.
Throwing an overhand right is Omotoso. Stepping inside is Hernandez. Omotoso said he's really excited about fighting here in the super welterweight division. He mentioned he'll fight anybody, and you look at the champions like Jermel Charlo, also Jared Hurd as well, Erislandy Lara, and that's some quality opposition to choose from.
Yeah, some of the best. That division is getting really stacked. It's starting to compete with the welterweight division. So, to see Omotoso in there, this is where it starts right here. You got to get past Freddy Hernandez.
A straight right down the middle that connected. A couple left hooks as well. Omotoso applying the pressure on Hernandez, looking to really pick up the pace here as we are under a minute to go in the first.
Yeah, Freddy Hernandez looks very relaxed, weathering the storm when Omatoso comes strong.
And that's a stumble there. It seemed, Robert, from our vantage point, could not tell whether or not that was a stumble or that was by a punch.
Yeah, he looked a little bit off balance. He was a little stumble from off balance, but he was right back with that jab and coming forward.
Shooting out his jab is Hernandez. Both guys don't seem to have much ring rust, at least in the first round, Robert.
No, yesterday in the fighting ring, they both said that they've been training nonstop, sparring, staying ready. Omatoso, not being able to get a fight, but he was staying sharp, so when he did get a fight, and also Freddy Hernandez too, he said right after his fight with his last fight that he was ready to go.
Welcome back to PBC on FS1. Eric Hunter in the corner of Oyewala Omatoso. Hunter also happens to be the trainer for Hugo Centeno Jr., who we saw here earlier in the year. And they have been together for some time, have both Omotoso and Hunter dating back to the Jesse Vargas fight over 4 years ago.
Yes, I think Omatoso was talking about yesterday he was sparring with Hugo Centeno, which is great work also.
And Centeno campaigning in the middleweight division. For Freddy Hernandez, he's trained under the guidance of Javier Capetillo, but Capetillo is not here. It is Capetillo's son, and if you remember, Capetillo was actually, they caught him for loading the gloves of Antonio Margarito over 8 years ago, but Hernandez right away when we spoke to him and asked him about Capetillo, he showed us his hands, he goes, look, I am clean, I have no part to do with that.
Yeah, it's funny you talk about that. I was on the undercard of that. That was with Shane Mosley and Margarito. I was at the fight right before that, and man, just to see the whole commotion going on about that.
And both fighters have interesting stories. Oyewala Omatoso from Lagos, Nigeria, certainly didn't have an easy upbringing. We will dive into that following the second round with our own Jordan Hardy. And for Freddy Hernandez, when they called him about Omotoso, he stated, he goes, look, at this stage of my career, I can't pick my fights. I just have to fight whoever's in front of me. And now they come forward, a chopping right hand by Omotoso, spinning him around is Hernandez.
That's what makes great fights, is, when you fight whoever, whenever. No matter who it is, you get the call, you step up and do it. That's the type of fighter I was coming in the ring, and that's what made it so exciting.
Good way to start the night. A check left hook by Oyewala Omatoso. And Omatoso is getting warmed up. You see both fighters sweating and getting into their groove, so to speak.
Yeah, they're starting to exchange really good. What I like is Omatoso starting to use that jab a little more to get in and get into range to land some shots.
They both exchange at close distance. 70 seconds to go in the second. Hernandez picking up the pace. This is a fan-friendly fight. Now Freddy Hernandez going to work. But Omotoso staying in the pocket, willing to engage. A left hook that connects by Hernandez. Another left hook by Freddy Hernandez from Mexico. He has landed 3 left hooks in this exchange.
Yeah, I think Omotoso got his mouthpiece knocked out.
And Jack Reese, the veteran referee, will now take the time to go ahead and clean off the mouthpiece. Eric Hunter here to rinse it off.
Keep it in your mouth.
You got to keep that mouth closed. That's how you get your jaw broken.
The action has heated up here in this second round. This is a very important fight for both. They're coming off of layoffs for Hernandez. He has won 4 straight since having a loss at the hands of Brad Solomon over 3 years ago.
Yes, this is their opportunity to get into that mix. Those big fights. It starts right here. You got to take care of business. And it looks like they both are. They're both going to work.
But Omotoso has been in there with some rough opposition as well, as we mentioned the names that he has collided against. Final 10 seconds of the second.
Yeah, Freddy Hernandez looks like he's giving him an overspot. As soon as he comes in, he's counting his punches.
And that is the end of the second. For more on the difficulty of Oyewala Omatoso and his dealings in his native home country of Nigeria, here's Jordan Hardy.
Thank you, Ray. Omotoso now fights for a career, but imagine having to fight to stay alive. Omotoso is from Lagos, Nigeria, one of the world's most dangerous cities. There are gangs everywhere, and he wasn't one himself, but check this out. He's been shot at, stabbed in his right hand, his head, his back, but the gang life is what brought boxing to him. At 15 years old, he was hiding out at the National Stadium from a gang that was looking for him. He ended up sleeping there, and a man that worked at the stadium found him asleep and went to wake him up, but startled Omotoso, so Omotoso hit him. After a few words, the man told Omotoso that he has some power and that he needs to go to the boxing gym and get off of the streets. And the rest is history. Ray, back to you.
Thank you very much, Sharon. What a way to find out that you are enamored with the sport of boxing, sort of dealing with some street tactics. Wale Omotoso there as Eric Hunter in his corner. The first 18 fights for Omotoso actually spent in Australia, has been here in the United States since 2011. 11-year pro compared to that of 16 years for Freddy Hernandez. So both guys have an array of experience.
Yeah, they have a lot of experience. It's just putting it to work now. You got both guys. Right now they're measuring each other, and I think it's just whoever's going to pop that jab more and stick that jab and get on it, is going to dictate the fight.
Yeah, Eric Hunter, I stand corrected, not Hunter. It's another terrific young fighter, but Eric Brown in the corner of Wale Omatoso. Stepping in with the double jab is Wale Omatoso. And what Eric Brown was pretty adamant to us is that he loves the aggressive style of Omotoso. He's a boxer puncher that loves to come forward, and he feels he can give fits to any opponent. But right now it's Freddy Hernandez who is more the aggressor here in the third.
I think Freddy putting that pressure on him, he's having a little trouble going backwards and punching. I think that's what's been the biggest issue with Omotoso, because he's used to coming forward so much and dictating the pace.
And it seemed like a little bit of a clash of heads, incidental.
We got you. Hold on a minute. Okay. Accidental headbutt, got a lot of redness, no blood. Box.
That is a wonderful description by Jack Reese. A lot of redness, no blood, accidental headbutt per referee in charge, Jack Reese.
Jack Reese is very, very sharp in the ring. You know, he's worked a couple of my fights, and, you know, love having him in there all the time, especially lets you fight too.
And now look at Omotoso.
Stop, nobody punch. Step out, turn around.
Throwing more, trying to regain the center of the ring.
Yes, when he comes forward, that's where he's doing good, when he's putting that pressure. But anytime he's going back to the ropes, that's where Hernandez is landing his shots and picking them off.
Hernandez digging to the body, but he gets backed up with the right hand from Omotoso.
Yeah, I like to see Hernandez just, you know, stay consistent pressure on him and keep working, just like that. Don't take that step back and just keep putting the pressure and see what he does.
A left hook for Freddy Hernandez, which connected, and the left hook has been finding its home for Freddy Hernandez in the first couple rounds.
Yes, I think it has to do with Omotoso going backwards, not used to it. He's getting caught with that.
A straight right hand down the middle for Freddy Hernandez moments ago. Could it be a size difference thing also? Robert, you made a name by going up in weight. Hernandez seems to be the bigger guy and is handling 154. Omotoso, this is his first venture here in the super welterweight division.
Yeah, it looks like the height's giving him a little trouble, but sparring with Hugo Centeno's a tall guy, so, you know, that kind of helped him out a bit. But, you know, it seems anytime he gets pushed back, it gives him trouble.
Let's go. Straight shots.
We'll come back with more PBC on FS1 here. Eric Brown there with Wale Omatoso. What do you think that they are speaking about right now in the quarters? Omotoso seems to have some difficulty against Freddy Hernandez.
Yeah, well, Eric Brown in the corner was telling him he got to throw 3-4 punches, 5-6 of them. Let him go when he's on the inside. As you notice, when he goes back, he throws 1 or 2 punches and starts to go almost like a counter puncher, and that's not his style.
And Robert, this is how you have the fight scored thus far, giving the edge to Freddy Hernandez.
Yes, I think Freddy Hernandez the last 2 rounds just been going to work, landing more combinations, more solid shots, and Omatoso's been more on the move.
Well, Hernandez has been getting the better of the exchanges when they are close.
Yes, exactly, Ray. That's where he's getting it in, and that's because he's making him go back, and that's where he's having trouble.
Bring him up a little bit, Wally. Bring him up a little bit.
Hernandez pumping out the jab as Omotoso going backwards. Also, Robert, could it be a case that Omotoso isn't necessarily used to being the fighter that goes backwards? He's used to being the aggressor, being the bigger man at 147, and now he is the one who has to adjust.
You hit it right on, Ray. You know, having to push him back is really playing with his game plan. So as you said, you know, being the taller, bigger man as Freddy Hernandez is, I think it's giving him a lot of trouble.
Hernandez steps forward with the right cross and some body work as well. Omotoso fires back.
See, anytime he's coming forward, that's where he's doing well. But as soon as he goes back, Hernandez is on him.
Hernandez with the left hook right underneath the right elbow of Omotoso.
And the one thing Hernandez is also doing is he's keeping his punches long when he comes forward. He's throwing from a distance, see, just like that, so he's able to land the shots. That was a nice counter by Omotoso there.
Well, we saw in our Corona tail of the tape that the reach advantage is very much in the favor of Freddy Hernandez, and he is using that, keeping Omotoso at the end of his punches.
Yes, keeping that long rangey punch and keep putting that consistent pressure, it was giving him a lot of trouble.
Omotoso, under a minute to go, still trying to figure out Freddy Hernandez. And Hernandez showing some nice wrinkles to his game. He's jabbing, he's not coming forward with a reckless aggression.
Yeah, he's fighting very composed, very smart. And you know, he keeps inching forward, using the pressure. And then, like I said before, he's using those long punches, just like that long jab.
And a looping right cross that landed for Omotoso under 30 seconds in the fourth.
I think Omotoso needs to come in on the inside and exchange with them. With the shorter arms, he gets the quicker hands, he'll be able to drop his combinations more. Just like Eric Brown said, you know, I want 5-6 punches when you're on the inside. But it seems he's having trouble getting in on Freddy Hernandez.
A left hook that momentarily connected for Freddy Hernandez. Final moments of the fourth. Freddy Hernandez, Oyewala Omatoso matchup here, 154. You're watching PBC here on FS1. Welcome back to PBC on FS1. The corner of Freddy Hernandez. They have to be very happy with what they've seen thus far.
Yes, he's looking very well. See how he's throwing those punches from a range, from a distance, and he's landing them because every time he lands he gets on the inside or he lands his shot, his jab, Omatoso pulls back and the punch is right there.
What's that left hook? And you see a little bit of a cut there. Some swelling outside the right eye of Freddy Hernandez. But that left hook has really been a very good weapon for Freddy Hernandez.
Yeah, especially when he throws it in a combination, you know, making Omatoso go back. You know, he's stepping right back into it.
The 38-year-old has been quite active compared to that of Oyewala Omatoso, who's more sitting back and waiting a little bit, still trying to pick his points.
Yes, and the one thing they always say in boxing is never pull straight back, and that's what Omatoso's doing, and that's why he's getting hit with those hooks.
Would you like to see Eric Brown instruct to Omotoso, you have to start throwing more with and really pick up your volume of punches?
Yes, I would like to see Omatoso get in there and just start grinding. Start pushing forward, stay on the inside. Just like Eric Brown said, 5-6 punches, you know, body head, and just keep pushing forward.
And what item that we've heard so much in, which Paulie Malignaggi has elaborated on numerous occasions, is not only is the forward pressure difficult to deal with, but it's that forward pressure that causes mental pressure on you, and you're probably thinking, how do I get this guy off of me?
Yes, especially when you got a guy, you know, that comes forward like Omatoso all the time. That's his style, that's how he spars, that's how he fights. And then everything gets changed. Now you're getting pushed back from a long rangy guy too, who throws a, you know, kind of awkward punches, hooks, uppercuts. You know, he hits different angles. It really is playing with him and giving him trouble.
And Hernandez was a part of the Mexican national team back in 1999. Actually went to the Pan Am Games in Canada. Said he learned quite a bit as an amateur during that time.
Yes, that amateur experience, you know, you can't beat it. That's what you need, you know, coming into the pros, is that amateur experience. There's very few guys that just come into the pros with very little amateur experience that can do good. But most guys, they need that amateur experience, and he's had some good amateur experience.
And Omotoso goes backwards from the catalog of punches that Hernandez is throwing at him. And now Omotoso with his back on the ropes, and this is a spot that he does not want to be in.
No, anytime he's on the ropes, you see those long distant punches, range, those hooks, body shots, and they're all from a distance getting leverage off of him. You don't want that.
A left hook seemed to take some of the steam out of Omotoso, as Hernandez is mixing up his attack now, not just going upstairs, but really targeting the body.
Yeah, I really feel Omotoso needs to change this around and start putting that pressure. You know, being slick and trying to dodge punches and trying to counter, it's not working for him at all.
It is Freddy Hernandez who's getting the better of Oyewala Omatoso. We're halfway home. You're watching PBC on FS1. Welcome back to PBC on FS1. In the corner, Freddy Hernandez.
La concentración, güey. Esta pelea la queríamos, güey. Así es de que no pierdes la concentración, güey. Tenemos que seguir trabajando. Trabaja como lo estás haciendo, güey.
Keep doing what you're doing.
No te desconcentres. Saca la toalla. Vamos, vamos.
Be smart about it.
Okay.
And in the corner, Freddy Hernandez, as they're letting him know to continue to fight with a sense of urgency and do not lose your concentration. Essentially, don't fall asleep at the wheel.
Exactly, don't fall asleep at the wheel. He's doing so good, you know, putting that pressure, working behind those long punches. And, you know, he's making it happen for himself. You know, you just can't lose sight of what you're doing and lose focus in that ring. You know, that's what happens to a lot of guys. You know, they start winning these rounds and they end up falling asleep and the fight gets turned around with one shot.
Hernandez trying to extend his win streak to 5. Omotoso having come up and look at this exchange here, as now Omotoso is coming forward, fighting more with a sense of urgency.
See, this is what I wanted to see Omotoso doing. You know, pressing forward, throwing punches, getting on the inside of Hernandez's arms. And as you can see, you know, he came out strong this round, and it's working for him.
Omotoso has dropped 2 of 3, but believes he has newfound life in the super welterweight division.
Yes, he needs to really go to work. You know, 6th round already. He needs to go to work the way he was. He's going back to that style a little bit, trying to counterpunch. You know, he needs to keep pressing forward.
Omotoso is fishing, trying to land punches, and now he's pressing the issue. Hernandez wisely uses his 16-year professional veteran ring generalship and spins him around.
Exactly, Ray. You know, tying him up, spinning him around, breaking up the action. You know, trying to break his momentum because his wheels were starting to work. He was starting to put that pressure and starting to get those shots in there. As you see, the tide has changed now. You know, he stopped his momentum.
75 seconds remaining here in the 6th. A straight right cross by Oyewala Omatoso. And Omotoso seems to be more willing to engage here in close distance.
Yes, and he finally figured out that's where he's got to be. That's where he's most effective. As you can see, Freddy Hernandez is starting to lose it a little bit.
And also, Hernandez isn't able to get as much leverage. So when you fight a longer fighter, you need to get on the inside to sort of smother the punches and their leverage in order to connect.
Yes, especially when you got those long arms. You know, you want to be on the inside of them, banging that body, bringing it up to the head, you know, mixing it up and putting that pressure, not giving them that breathing space or giving them that distance to land those shots with leverage.
Well, Omotoso certainly warming up. Could it be a sign of, at least in the first 2 rounds, we didn't see any ring rust, but for Omotoso, and a straight right cross got connected by Hernandez. Could it be a thing of ring rust for Omotoso?
It could be that, you know, not being in the fight ring so long. I mean, you could be sparring and training and everything and get used to it and get comfortable with certain styles. But the fight ring's a whole different story when you're in there. You know, that's where you feel the ring rust.
And also a new division as well for Omotoso, as we near the end here of the 6th round. Freddy Hernandez, Oyewala Omatoso. As you see, they both go back to their corner. Let's take a look at this big right hand by Freddy Hernandez. Right there, boom! Right there on the button, and Omotoso took it well.
Yes, it was nice. You know, he had to exchange with him at the same time. But getting on the inside, you know, it's helping him out. It's helping Omotoso out on the inside, and that's where he needs to be. I think if he would have been on the outside and Freddy Hernandez would have got leverage on that punch, it would have been a lot more devastating.
For more on our opening bout, here's Jordan Hardy.
Thank you, Ray. I'm over in the corner of Oyewala Omatoso, and his trainer, Eric Hunter, yelled at him very enthusiastically, "Are you hungry? Do you want to get back in the game?" And Omatoso said yes. So he's saying, man, you got to step it up. You can't be going backwards with your hands down. You got to be ready to counterpunch, go to the body, and finish up top. So we'll see if he'll implement that in this next round. Ray, back to you.
Thank you very much, Jordan. Eric Brown really sort of trying to liven up his fighter in Oyewala Omatoso, understanding that this fight could very well be slipping away from him. He looked solid in the 6th, and we will see what we have here in the 7th. Ray Flores, Robert Guerrero, Jordan Hardy, great to be with you in Southern California for PBC on FS1. And look at Omotoso come out again as he is firing.
Yes. Eric Brown had the exact instructions that I wanted to hear. You know, you need to come out, put that pressure, let your hands go. And as you've seen, anytime he pushes Freddy Hernandez back also, you know, he's having trouble. That's his comfort zone, and that's where he needs to be for the rest of the remaining fight.
Omotoso started off those first 30 seconds really quite lively and trying to throw everything at Freddy Hernandez. He has since settled in, but it was important for him to come out and really sort of take charge in the 7th.
Yeah, that's what he needed to do. He needs to turn the tide and gain some of that respect and put that pressure and establish himself in there. You know, earlier in the rounds, he wasn't doing that. You know, he was just moving and, you know, counter-punching, and that's not his style.
And here's how you have the fight scored. You gave the 6th to Omotoso. He hadn't won a round in your book since the 1st, so the fight is certainly getting closer.
Yes, anytime he puts any pressure, you know, he does very well. He lands punches, and Freddy Hernandez has a bit of trouble because he has those short, fast arms, Omatoso does, and he's landing those punches in there.
And a straight right cross that connected as Hernandez dropped his guard momentarily. Omotoso made him pay.
Yes, and it's exactly what his corner said. Don't fall asleep at the wheel. And you know, he's starting to fall asleep a little bit. He's starting to go on that defense. You know, more counter punching, and that's what Omotoso needed to do, was turn the tide like this. Start putting that pressure. Start mixing it up. Give him something different to look at.
Could it be also a difference in age? Because 38 is vastly different than that of 32, in which the age of Omotoso.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, that age does make a big difference. I mean, I'm 34, and I'm like, hey, it's time to hang him up. So, you know, it does make a difference. So, you know, I think it's really, you can see it showing.
And don't forget to join us on the conversation on social media. Use the hashtag PBC on FS1. Use the hashtag PBC on FS1 on social media. Follow us at Premier Boxing, also at FS1. Oyewala Omatoso is trying to regain some of this matchup. Thought he won the 6th and appears to be winning the 7th.
Yes, he's doing very well this 7th round. I think he needs to keep putting that pressure. Just keep coming forward. You know, anytime he's only stepping back, he's getting caught. He's getting caught with shots because Freddy Hernandez is able to land those long punches on him.
But Hernandez isn't throwing with as much frequency as we saw in the first 5 rounds. Omotoso has certainly picked up his activity level, but back comes Hernandez with a little bit of a flurry towards the end of the round.
Yes, he's starting to flurry a little bit. It looks like his punches don't have as much steam as they did before.
Sunday on Fox, Aaron Rodgers returns. The Packers look to stay in the playoff hunt when they take on Cam Newton and the Panthers in an NFC showdown. It's a full slate of NFL action beginning at 1 o'clock Eastern, only on Fox. And I know that Jamal James, the Proud from Minnesota, is going to be watching the Vikings and is thrilled with what he's seen so far of what the Vikings have done in the NFC North. But right now, it seems to be a closer fight between Oyewala Omatoso and Freddy Hernandez. You know that Eric Brown is thrilled with what we have seen so far in the 6th and the 7th out of Omotoso.
Yes, I think he's really happy, but I think he wants him to work a lot more. He wants him to keep putting that pressure and keep inching forward and throwing punches.
For Freddy Hernandez, now doubling up on the jab. And Robert, it just goes to show that the fundamentals of boxing are so imperative. We see all that Hernandez sort of lost the 6th and the 7th, but he started off here the 8th round to go right back to the jab, doubling up on the jab, and it's the basic fundamentals which are showcasing themselves.
Yes, and that's what he's been doing, you know, landing that long jab, keeping his distance, working a double, triple jab like that, and also, you know, that right hand and that hook following up.
Well, whoever is the victor is going to give and is a rough customer for anybody at 154, as Omotoso now comes back looking to regain the center of the ring. And a left hook by Freddy Hernandez. We haven't seen that in a few rounds.
No, not at all. We haven't seen that.
Stop, break,
As soon as Omotoso started putting that pressure, it kind of went out the door, but it looks like he's gaining his focus back, and you know, he's getting back on his game, working that jab, keeping that distance, and it's starting to give Omotoso a bit of trouble.
And the jab, and you hear the corner of Freddy Hernandez. They are asking him, come on, we want you to target the body. 75 seconds left in the 8th.
Yeah, I think they're asking to target the body more to slow Omotoso down because he keeps trying to come in forward and put that pressure.
Right cross that connected by Freddy Hernandez. And Hernandez hoping that this victory will propel him and get him into the top 10. 2 right crosses, one of them grazed Omotoso, but a left hook and a big right hand. No wobble, Hernandez. Omotoso, Hernandez hurt. What a shot by Omotoso. Hernandez with the back on the ropes. And Omotoso picking up the pace. But back comes Hernandez. Looking to tie up Omotoso. What a big shot by Omotoso.
Yeah, beautiful hook. Beautiful overhand. That's what happens when he puts that pressure.
Let him go, suéltelo,
That's why
suéltelo.
Hernandez wanted him to put that pressure
Freddy,
because
suéltelo, Freddy.
Hernandez is starting to fade a bit.
Omotoso had Freddy Hernandez rocked against the ropes, and he has regained his legs momentarily. Closing stages of an eventful 8th round.
Yeah, Hernandez did a very well job weathering the storm.
And that is the end of the 8th. My goodness.
This is a 10-round
Let's
fight.
take a look here
Well, look.
at this exchange.
Hey, this is a 10-round fight, right?
And
They think they
Hernandez
signed
threw
up for
a
8.
straight right hand, but look at Wally Omotoso. Boom! It was that right hand right on the chin as he went backwards with his back on the ropes, and Omotoso went on the offensive.
Yeah, beautiful. As you've seen, he didn't take that step back. Usually in the earlier rounds, he was taking that step back and he was getting caught. He didn't take that step back and he just fired that overhand right off of that left hook and landed beautiful.
You okay?
And Eric Brown, you know, has got to be telling Wally
okay? Can you
Omotoso
go more?
to continue to apply the pressure.
No problem, but it's the contact guy.
They said it's 10. What do you want to do? ¿Qué quieres hacer?
Seconds out, buddy.
Fighting or what?
Peleo, pero me van a pagar más.
Yes.
And there seems to be
Peleo,
some
pero me
confusion
van a pagar más.
as Freddy Hernandez thought it was only an 8-round fight, but they are saying it is a 10-round fight. So Chakri's been in the corner and told him it's a 10-round fight. Do you want to continue? And Hernandez was just trying to make sure everything was clear on his end.
Yeah, I didn't like that confusion in the corner because you get no instruction. And look at the way Omotoso came out.
But back comes Wally Omatoso. What an action-packed fight here in Lancaster, California.
Yeah, I think that really hurt him. You know, going back to the corner and having all that confusion, not being able to get your marbles, get instruction in the corner. You know, you got to come back out and you got Omotoso on you just throwing bomb after bomb, doing exactly what Eric Brown told him to do. Do you want this? Get out there and put that pressure and land punches.
Wally Omotoso and Freddy Hernandez, so durable, very difficult opponents. And Omotoso took some very good shots from Hernandez. A nice left hook by Omotoso.
Yeah, he's doing a very good job getting on the inside and landing those punches, especially when he doesn't take that step back like he was earlier and he comes back and counters.
Wally Omatoso has seized control of the second half of the fight. The first half was largely in favor of Hernandez.
Omotoso might have shot a little bit of his energy in that last round.
Break, step out.
You know, while Hernandez was weathering that storm, he looked like he slowed down a bit this round.
From a psychology standpoint, knowing that they thought in a straight right hand that landed for Hernandez, from a psychology standpoint, do you think that Hernandez is probably thinking, all I have to do is remain upright and I got this fight in the bag, because he thought it was only an 8-round fight?
Yes. The last few rounds, it seemed like he kind of cruised, and Omotoso gained ground on him. So, you know, now he knows it's a 10-rounder. You got to go to work.
He's got to dig deep, as Omotoso has done here in this fight.
Stop.
They both barreling into Omotoso as Hernandez. Jack Reese will separate them. Over a minute to go here in the ninth.
I think that was a great job by Eric Brown in the corner, you know, getting Omotoso to get in there and start putting that pressure, throwing more punches, you know, to turn the tide. Now, you know, the fight's getting close.
Using his jab to get on the inside is Wale Omatoso, the 32-year-old out of Lagos, Nigeria. He's gotten more comfortable, has Omotoso, in the second half of the fight.
Yes, he got a lot more comfortable on the inside, inching forward, putting that pressure, knowing Freddy Hernandez doesn't have the steam that he had earlier in the fight, and he knows he can hurt him. So now he's coming forward with every bomb over the top.
Well, he's certainly getting comfortable. Robert, when you move up in weight, that first fight up in weight, does it take you about half of a fight to get adjusted to the weight of the bigger men?
It does take you a bit to adjust.
Stop.
You know, you got bigger guys, punches are harder.
You know?
And
hold on.
And now it seemed to be a little bit of a clash of
I got
heads
a cut
there.
from an accidental butt. He's bleeding, little cut. Necesito un momento. Ready now? Listo now? Ahora? Okay.
Jack
All right,
Reese
listo. Pelea.
asking him if he needs a little bit of a moment. So an accidental headbutt causing a cut outside the eye of Freddy Hernandez. And Hernandez goes back to his corner. It is a cut just outside of the left eye. So an accidental headbutt, which has caused a laceration outside of the left eye of Freddy Hernandez.
yeah, he was eager to get back in there and fight. You know, he didn't want to take no break, anything. He was like, let's do it.
And here is the accidental clash of heads. And it was Omotoso there with his head, and that caused the blood to stream.
Yeah, that was a brutal exchange. You know, both of them trying to throw that overhand. The only thing they collided was heads.
And they are working on the left eye of Freddy Hernandez. 1 more round to go. Robert, this is a very close fight, as we have discussed the entire matchup. And this is how you have the fight scored, your unofficial scorecard. You now have Omotoso on top by a point.
Yes, I feel he turned it around. You know, Eric Brown gave him great instruction in the corner, got him fired up, and urged him to go out there and put pressure and throw punches. And as soon as he did that, the tide changed.
Wale Omatoso fighting with more urgency, seems to be the fresher man compared to that of Freddy Hernandez.
It might go back to, like you said, Ray, earlier, you know, thinking it was an 8-round fight. You know, he thought he had it in the bag, cruised a little bit, and that's when Omatoso gained ground.
Now Hernandez has got to turn it up, because this fight, it appears, hangs in the balance, as Wale Omatoso looking to get back in the win column, debuting here in the super welterweight division. For Freddy Hernandez, his 4-fight win streak is hanging in the balance.
Yes, he needs to start firing a lot more, using that range. He's working that jab really nice, but he needs to fire off of that jab. As soon as it lands, he needs to drop his combination.
And Omotoso seems to just be beating Hernandez to the punch.
Yes, he's getting on the inside, and it has to do with not taking that step back and pulling back. Anytime he pulled back, that's when he was getting caught. So now what he's doing is he's slipping the punch and coming right in, and that's when he's able to land.
100 seconds remaining here in the final round. Also, for Omotoso, he felt the power of Hernandez early. Could it be that he was a little bit tentative and still trying to gather himself and figure out the weight and the power and the reach advantage?
Yeah, it could be that. You know, figuring him out, you know, the height, the reach, how lanky he is, and how he's, you know, keeping the punches long, you know, figuring a way to get in. But as soon as he figured it out, everything changed.
And he's clicking in all cylinders.
Stop. My break.
Is
Step out.
Wale Omatoso. Under a minute, or coming up on a minute in this final round. Omotoso continues to throw.
Yeah, he's doing a great job putting that pressure. You know, it's a constant pressure, slips a punch, and he tries to counter him over the top.
Some good defense also being displayed by Wale Omatoso. He's using his athleticism. He's bending at the knees, moving from side to side, using angles to slip the punches of Hernandez.
Yes, and Hernandez having those lanky long arms, you know, they're flying right by him, and that's where he's able to land his counter shots.
Oyewala Omatoso has found his groove here in the second half of the fight, but Freddy Hernandez certainly still in this matchup.
Omotoso, you know, he's starting to get that rhythm, get that groove, you know, firing those shots off at different angles.
They tie up now, final moments of what has been a fun matchup between Oyewala Omatoso and Freddy Hernandez. That's the end of the fight. Very competitive matchup here between the two, Oyewala Omatoso and Freddy Hernandez. Fan-friendly fight, Robert.
Yeah, that was a great one. You know, first half of the first couple of rounds, you know, it looked all Freddy Hernandez. You know, he was having a good night, working behind that jab, keeping those punches long, landing whatever he wanted to land, and then it changed. It changed as soon as Omotoso started putting that pressure. That was it.
Welcome back to the Pioneer Event Center here in Lancaster, California. As we go the distance between Oyewala Omatoso and Freddy Hernandez. Robert, here's how it all played out.
Yes, he started with a great jab, you know, keeping that distance. That's what helped him out a lot, pushing Omotoso back. You know, and he kept it up, kept his distance, kept calm. He had a great game plan going into this fight.
And things changed in the sixth for Oyewala Omatoso.
Yes, Eric Brown did a great job in the corner on getting him to go out there and throw punches and keep coming forward. As he inched forward, that's what changed everything in the fight.
And in the eighth, that was a big right hand that stunned Freddy Hernandez. And Hernandez remained upright.
And that changed a lot of stuff. You know, landing that big shot, hurting him, that's where the tides really changed, where he knew he can come and start putting that pressure and he could get on the inside and land big shots.
And there you saw the clash of heads, which caused the laceration for Freddy Hernandez. Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we go to the scorecards. Here are your score totals. Judge at ringside, Rudy Barragan has the contest, 100-90. Fernando Villarreal, 97-93. And Zachary Young, 96-94. All for your winner by unanimous decision, Wale Lucky Boy Omotoso. So Oyewala Omatoso makes his super welterweight debut a successful one.